Zira walked carefully over the gray ground, her small feet leaving soft prints behind her. The sky above was always the same pale gray, and the sun, though bright, looked like a dull white disk. She had never seen any colors. For as long as she could remember, everything on her planet was shades of gray. Trees, rivers, mountains, even her own skin, were all different shades of the same color. Zira often wondered if there was more to the world than what she could see. She lived in the city of Valora, a place where aliens like her moved quietly through the streets. The buildings were tall and made of smooth stone. They had patterns and shapes, but no matter how intricate, they all blended into gray. The people around her rarely spoke to outsiders, and humans were extremely rare visitors. Humans, Zira had heard, saw the world differently. They saw colors, bright reds, soft blues, glowing greens. She could only imagine what that might feel like. Zira had always been curious about humans. Once she had seen a small group of them arrive on her planet. They wore bright clothes that seemed impossible to her gray eyes. One of them, a man with kind eyes and careful movements, caught her attention. She later learned his name was Dr. Liam Carter. He was not like the other humans who came to trade or study. He seemed interested in her and how she saw the world. Every day, Zira would watch Dr. Carter from a distance. He carried strange tools that glowed softly and made soft humming sounds. Sometimes he would take out round, glassy objects that reflected light in unusual ways. Zira's gray world seemed to move differently when he was around. She didn't understand it, but she felt drawn to his work. One afternoon, she followed him to a quiet place outside the city. The area was open and empty, with only a few gray bushes and smooth stones. Dr. Carter was sitting on a rock, carefully adjusting a small device that seemed to have tiny lights inside. Zira hid behind a bush, watching quietly. She was not supposed to be there, but curiosity was stronger than fear. The human looked up suddenly. "Hello," he said gently, not sounding surprised. "I've been expecting you." Zira froze. You can see me?" she asked, her voice small. "I can," he replied with a warm smile. "I noticed you watch my work every day. You are curious about it, aren't you?" Zira nodded slowly. I want to know, how do you see the world? Why is it so bright for you?" Dr. Carter's eyes softened. "We humans see colors. The sky is blue, the grass is green, flowers are red, yellow, purple. So many colors. I think you may never have seen them. But I want to help you see them one day." Zira's heart beat faster. She had never imagined anyone would understand her longing. She felt excitement mixed with fear. Can you really?" she whispered. "I don't know yet," he admitted. "But I think it is possible. I study your eyes and your mind. You are special, Zira. Different from anyone I have seen." She tilted her head, curious. "Different? How?" "You have a unique way of seeing the world, even in gray," Dr. Carter explained. "I think with a little help you could see colors too. It will take time. I will need to study and build something for you." Zira's eyes widened. I want to try," she said quickly. Dr. Carter nodded. "Good, but you must be patient. The world may feel strange at first. Seeing colors is not like looking at gray things. It will feel different." Zira took a deep breath. "I don't mind. I just want to see it. I want to see what I have never seen." From that day, she began visiting Dr. Carter every afternoon. She watched him mix glowing liquids, small circuits, and shiny lenses. He explained little things, though she didn't understand everything. She learned patience, how careful adjustments could change the outcome of his work. She felt a small thrill whenever a tiny light on his device blinked in a new pattern. Even at night, Zira thought about colors. She wondered if the flowers outside her home would be red or yellow. Would the river shine blue under the sun? She could only imagine, but imagining was the closest she could get. Her friends teased her sometimes, saying humans were strange and that chasing color was a useless dream. But Zira did not care. There was something inside her, a small, persistent hope that the gray world was only part of life. One evening, as the two of them worked quietly in the lab, Dr. Carter smiled at her. "Tomorrow we will try the first test," he said softly. "Are you ready?" Zira nodded, feeling both nervous and excited. She could not sleep that night. She stared at the gray sky through her window, wondering if tomorrow would finally show her the world she had always dreamed of. And somewhere deep inside, she felt a small spark of wonder, as if the gray world she knew was waiting to be transformed into something magical. The next morning, Zira arrived at the small lab where Dr. Carter worked. The lab was full of strange devices, glowing liquids and tiny tools that hummed softly. Zira had never seen such things before. She walked carefully among the tables, her gray eyes wide with curiosity. Dr. Carter looked up and smiled. "Good morning, Zira. Today is important. We will start making something special for you." Zira's heart jumped. "Something special?" she asked, trying not to sound too excited. "Yes," Dr. Carter said, his voice calm but full of energy. "A pair of glasses that might let you see colors. It will take time and it may not be perfect at first, but I believe it will work." Zira's hands trembled slightly. I can't wait," she whispered. Dr. Carter led her to a table covered with small lenses, wires, and glowing devices. "These are the pieces we will use," and he explained. "I will combine human technology with your biology. Your eyes are different from humans, so the glasses must be special for you." Zira studied the parts. They were tiny and delicate. Some lenses shimmered with faint colors she could not name. Other pieces glowed like stars. She reached out and touched a small lens. "It feels alive," she said softly. Dr. Carter nodded. "In a way it is. Everything must work perfectly together. If one part is off, it may not show colors correctly. I need your patience and focus." Zira nodded seriously. She had never been so focused on anything in her life. She watched as Dr. Carter soldered tiny wires and adjusted glowing lenses. He explained every step, though Zira did not always understand. "See, Zira, the glasses must bend light in a special way. Your eyes will receive signals differently, and your brain will learn to interpret them as colors. It's complicated, but you are ready." Hours passed. Zira helped in small ways, handing him tools and watching carefully. Sometimes she asked questions. "Why do we need this lens?" Or "What does this wire do?" Dr. Carter answered patiently each time. He never seemed annoyed or tired, even though the work was long and detailed. In the afternoon, Zira took a break outside the lab. She looked at the gray world around her, the buildings, the sky, the rivers, the plants. She tried to imagine colors just as she had the night before. She imagined red flowers, green leaves, blue skies, and yellow sunlight. Her mind painted pictures, but she knew they were only dreams. She sighed. Suddenly she felt a small hand on her shoulder. She turned and saw a younger alien child, one of her friends. "Zira," the child said, "why are you helping the human? He is strange. Why chase colors that may not exist?" Zira smiled gently. "I have to try," she said. "There is something inside me that wants to see the world differently. Even if it is strange, I must see it." The child looked doubtful but did not argue further. Zira returned to the lab, her mind full of hope. By evening, Dr. Carter had made progress. A small, delicate pair of glasses sat on the table, shining faintly. "Tomorrow we will try them," he said. "But remember, the world may feel strange. You may feel confused. It is normal. Colors are a new experience for you." Zira studied the glasses carefully. They were light and small, with lenses that glimmered faintly. She felt a mixture of fear and excitement. "I am ready," she said firmly. Dr. Carter smiled and adjusted the glasses one last time. "I know you are, but it is important to trust your eyes, your brain, and yourself. Colors will appear, but it may take a moment for your mind to understand them." Zira nodded. She thought about the world beyond the lab, about the sky, the plants, the mountains, and the rivers. Soon all of it might look different. She felt a flutter of joy and nervousness together. That night she lay in her small gray room, unable to sleep. She imagined the glasses resting beside her, and what it would be like to wear them. Would the flowers bloom in colors? Would the rivers sparkle? Would the sky turn bright blue? Her mind raced with possibilities. She remembered Dr. Carter's words. "Trust your eyes, trust your brain, and trust yourself." She repeated them silently, over and over, until her heart felt steady and strong. She knew tomorrow would change her life. For the first time, Zira felt that hope was not just a dream. It was real, and she could almost feel the colors waiting for her, hidden in the gray world, ready to bloom. The morning sun rose pale and quiet over the gray city of Valora. Zira woke with a heartbeat that seemed too fast for her small chest. Today was the day. She had waited for this moment for what felt like forever. The special glasses sat on a soft cloth by her side, glowing faintly in the morning light. Her hands trembled as she picked them up. They felt light, delicate, and almost alive. She looked at the tiny lenses shining faintly. Could these small objects really change her whole world? She had imagined colors for years, but imagination was not the same as seeing. She took a deep breath, trying to calm her excitement. When she arrived at the lab, Dr. Carter was already waiting. His gentle smile made her heart feel steadier. "Are you ready, Zira?" he asked softly. Zira nodded. "Yes, I think I am." He handed her the glasses. "Remember, everything may look strange at first. Your eyes and your brain will need time to adjust. But don't worry, I will be right here." Zira lifted the glasses carefully to her face and put them on. At first the world seemed different, but not in the way she expected. Shapes and shadows wavered. The gray ground under her feet shimmered strangely. The walls of the lab twisted faintly, and the lights blinked in unusual patterns. She blinked rapidly, feeling both dizzy and amazed. "Hold still," Dr. Carter said gently. "It will take a moment." Then suddenly everything changed. The gray world melted away, replaced by colors so bright and alive that Zira could hardly breathe. The floor under her feet was no longer gray. It was a soft, warm brown. The walls of the lab were painted in gentle shades of cream and blue. Tiny streaks of red and orange glowed softly in the lights around her. She gasped, stepping back. Her eyes darted around the room, drinking in the colors. The lenses of the glasses bent light in ways her mind had never experienced before. Colors flowed like rivers, shifting and moving. She looked at Dr. Carter. His eyes, which had always been gray to her, now sparkled bright blue. His smile was warmer, brighter, alive in a way she could finally see. Zira felt tears form in her eyes. She did not know whether to laugh or cry. She pressed a small hand to her face, overwhelmed by the beauty of everything around her. I can see," she whispered, her voice trembling. Dr. Carter knelt beside her. "Yes, Zira, you can see. Take your time. Let your eyes adjust. You are seeing the world as it truly is." Zira looked out the window. The sky, which had always been pale gray, now stretched above her in shades of blue and gold. The sun reflected off the distant mountains, making them glow in soft pink and violet. Even the gray rivers she had walked beside every day shimmered with hints of green and silver. She could not stop crying, not from sadness, but from happiness so intense it took her breath away. She turned to the small plants in the lab. Their leaves were deep green, and tiny flowers had colors she had only dreamed of. Reds, yellows, and purples. She reached out a hand, touching one softly. She could feel the shape, the texture, but now she could also see its beauty in full. "Colors are beautiful," she whispered. "They are more than I ever imagined." Dr. Carter smiled quietly. "Yes, they are. But remember, Zira, colors are more than just beauty. They can tell you things about the world. What is alive, what is healthy, what is safe. Colors are a language, and now you can read it." Zira nodded slowly. She moved around the lab, touching objects and looking at every detail. Even the simple gray walls she had known for years were now full of subtle tones and textures she had never noticed. She laughed softly, spinning in a small circle, overwhelmed by the joy of discovery. Hours passed, but Zira did not want to take the glasses off. She looked at Dr. Carter often, her eyes shining. "Thank you," she said simply. I never knew the world could be like this. I never knew it could feel so alive." Dr. Carter shook his head gently. "No, Zira, thank you. You trusted me, and your courage allowed this to happen. Humans and aliens can learn from each other. We can create wonders together." Zira smiled through her tears, feeling warmth spread through her chest. She had never felt so connected to the world, to life, or to anyone else. Colors were more than light. They were emotions, stories, and hope. And now, for the first time, Zira understood the true meaning of seeing. As the sun began to set outside, painting the sky in deep oranges and soft purples, Zira sat quietly with the glasses still on. She did not want this moment to end. The gray world she had known was gone. In its place was a universe of colors waiting to be explored, and she knew deep inside that nothing would ever feel empty again. The next morning, Zira woke up earlier than ever. She grabbed the glasses from her bedside table and slipped them on immediately. The world exploded into color once again, just as it had the day before. Her heart filled with joy all over again. It felt like living inside a dream that had finally come true. When she stepped outside her home, the streets of Valora looked completely different. The tall buildings were no longer just gray walls, they were shades of soft silver and cream, glowing in the morning light. The ground had a warm tone, and the sky above was painted in blue with streaks of golden light from the rising sun. Zira walked slowly, looking at everything as if she had never seen her own city before. She noticed that some plants had bright green leaves while others had leaves that were darker, or almost blue. Small flowers grew near the road, their petals shining in reds and yellows. She knelt down, touching them gently, smiling as tears formed in her eyes. People passing by stared at her. Some looked curious, others confused. Zira didn't care. She wanted to share this new world with everyone. She ran toward the marketplace where food and goods were sold. There she saw fruits she had eaten all her life, but now they were different. Some were bright red, others orange, some deep purple. The colors told her which ones were fresh and which were not. Her friend from the day before approached her, looking surprised. "Zira, what are you doing?" Zira smiled brightly. "I can see colors now, look." She pointed to a row of fruits. "This one is red, this one is green, and that one is yellow." Her friend tilted his head. "They all look the same to me." Zira grabbed his hand gently. "Come with me. You must meet Dr. Carter. He can help you see what I see." The friend hesitated but followed her to the lab. Dr. Carter welcomed them kindly. When Zira explained what she wanted, Dr. Carter smiled. "It may take time, but yes, I can make more glasses. Everyone deserves to see the world like this if they wish." The next days were full of discovery for Zira. She went to the river and saw that the water was not just gray. It was a sparkling, clear blue with light reflecting like tiny stars on its surface. The fish swimming inside glowed with patterns she had never noticed before. She lay on the grass near the river, staring at the sky for hours. Clouds moved slowly, changing from white to golden as the sun sank lower. Everywhere she went, she found new surprises. The mountains far away were not just dull shapes. They had green sides full of forests and dark peaks that glowed orange at sunset. Even the stones on the ground had small flecks of color, hidden until now. She began sketching what she saw. Her drawings were simple, but she used bright paints that Dr. Carter brought from the humans' supply ship. Other aliens gathered around to watch. They could not see the colors themselves, but they could feel Zira's excitement. Her art made them curious. One evening, a small group of aliens came to Dr. Carter's lab, asking if they could try the glasses too. Dr. Carter was happy to help. "It may take some time," he said, "but we can build them together. Zira will help me teach you how to use them." Zira felt proud. She had started something bigger than herself. Soon her friends began to see colors for the first time. Their reactions were much like hers: shock, joy, tears. The city of Valora began to change. People started painting their homes with colorful materials. They decorated their streets with banners. One day, Zira stood on a high platform looking down at the city. For the first time in history, Valora had a celebration full of colors. Bright fabrics hung between the buildings. People wore colorful clothes that Dr. Carter helped them design. For the first time, the gray city looked alive. Dr. Carter joined her on the platform. "You see, Zira," he said softly, "your curiosity changed everything. You wanted to see the world, and now the whole city can see too. This is what happens when humans and aliens work together." Zira smiled, her eyes shining. "It is beautiful," she whispered. But deep inside, she felt that this was only the beginning. There was still so much more to discover, so many colors she had not yet seen, so many worlds beyond her own. She knew that her journey was not over. It was only just beginning. Weeks passed, and Valora no longer looked like the quiet gray city Zira had known all her life. Colors now filled the streets. Bright fabrics fluttered between buildings. Flowers were planted along the roadsides, and markets sold fruits arranged not only by size but also by their color. For the first time in history, the city looked alive and joyful. Zira walked through the streets wearing her glasses proudly. Everywhere she looked, she saw the results of her dream. Children ran past her, laughing, pointing at the banners that glowed with reds, yellows, and blues. Some wore small glasses of their own, built by Dr. Carter and his team. Their faces lit up when they looked around, seeing colors for the first time. Dr. Carter had become well known among the aliens, but he remained humble. He still worked late, into the night in his lab, building new devices and adjusting lenses so more people could see the world as Zira did. "Soon," he said one evening, "no one will have to live without colors if they don't want to. Everyone will have a choice." Zira often stayed with him during these late hours, helping in small ways. She had learned how to handle the lenses, carefully, how to clean them, and how to fit them into the frames. You are becoming a scientist yourself, Dr. Carter said with a smile one night. Zira felt proud. I just want to help. I want everyone to feel what I felt that first day. She still remembered that moment clearly. The first sight of blue skies, the first flash of green leaves, the first tear that had fallen from her eyes. That memory stayed in her heart like a precious treasure. One day, a group of leaders from Valora came to meet Zira and Dr. Carter. They stood in the lab looking serious but curious. Zira, one of them said, we have seen how colors have changed our city. People are happier. They are more creative. They are working together in new ways. We want to spread this gift to every city on our planet. Will you help us? Zira's heart skipped a beat. She looked at Dr. Carter, who nodded gently. This is your choice, he said softly. Zira took a deep breath. Yes, she said firmly. I will help. From that day, her life became even busier. She and Dr. Carter traveled to other cities, carrying boxes of glasses and teaching others how to use them. In every place they visited, the reactions were the same: shock, joy, and tears. Some people hugged Zira. Others fell to their knees, staring at the sky in wonder. Soon, the entire planet began to change. Buildings were painted in bright designs. Gardens were planted everywhere. Festivals were created to celebrate the discovery of color. People made art, music, and clothes inspired by what they now saw. One evening, after a long journey, Zira and Dr. Carter returned to Valora. They climbed a tall hill overlooking the city. The sun was setting, filling the sky with gold, pink, and purple. The lights of the city below glowed in soft colors. It was the most beautiful sight Zira had ever seen. She turned to Dr. Carter. Do you think there are more colors out there, on other worlds? Dr. Carter smiled. Oh yes, Zira. The universe is full of colors you have not seen yet. Some of them cannot even be imagined until you find them. Zira's eyes shone with excitement. Then I want to see them all. I want to go to other worlds and share this gift with them too. Dr. Carter nodded. We will. Together. They stood there in silence for a long time, watching the stars appear one by one. Zira felt a warmth in her heart. She had once lived in a gray world, believing that was all there was. But now she knew the truth. The world was full of colors, full of life, full of wonder. She whispered softly, Thank you, Dr. Carter. You changed my life. Dr. Carter looked at her kindly. No, Zira. You changed your own life. I just gave you the tools. It was your courage that made this possible. Zira smiled. She knew that her journey was not over. There were still so many skies to see, so many rivers to explore, so many colors waiting in the stars. And she would not stop until she saw them all. That night, as the city celebrated below, Zira stood with her glasses on, looking at the universe above. The stars seemed brighter than ever. She felt hope for the future, hope for her people, for the humans, and for every world yet to be discovered. The girl who had once lived in a gray world now saw everything in color, and she knew this was only the beginning of a new story, one where humans and aliens worked side by side to bring light and beauty wherever they went.